In the recent 2.7 quest, we got lots of information about what happened to the purple Yaksha. Not only that, we learned both the names and the appearances of the other Yakshas. In the two animations related to them, we know that the karmic debt made them develop symptoms such as going mad with fear, killing each other, and more. I've always wondered what exactly is karmic debt, and how did it affect Yakshas to the point of killing each other? Before answering, we must explain what the Yaksha race is, along with their purpose of existence. The information I will be discussing comes from a mix of the animations, character voice lines, and in-game quests. Yakshas were a race of Adepti that likely existed sometime before the Archon War about 2,000 years ago. While some Yakshas share different backgrounds, such as the case with Xiao, they all share similar traits such as their beast-like appearance and their immense fighting prowess. Now note that the Yakshas we've seen so far took on a more humanoid form. Among the Yakshas were the 5 strongest, better known as the 5 Yakshas. Included were their leader Bosacius, Indarius, Mananas, Menagius, and Alatis, which is Xiao's real name. Them, along with the rest of the Yakshas, were summoned by Zhongli post-Archon War to rid of the manifestations of the fallen god's hatred. Now, based on the cinematics, however, this duty would eventually lead to the fate of the Yaksha race. They soon became tainted with darkness, and eventually it tore them apart, both inside and out. This taint was so powerful that even the 4 of the 5 most powerful Yakshas succumbed to its power. It drove them insane and fearful, resulting in actions one can only imagine. Some, like Indarius, fell to the darkness. Some, like Bosacius, simply vanished, although we know now from this recent quest that he is actually now dead after helping defend Liyue during the Cataclysm. And others even went as far as killing each other, like Bananas and Menagius. Overall, this resulted in only one Yaksha remaining, Xiao. Now, despite having managed with the debt even until now, Xiao still occasionally feels the agony and suffering that comes with handling such immense power. It's safe to say that negative karma is indeed no joke, and is why Xiao is always so cautious whenever he's hovering around other people. Now, what exactly is karma or karmic debt? Now, the term karmic debt and karma are terms which often describe the negative energy that Yaksha endure after expelling dead god manifestations of hatred or anguish. But where exactly does the term karma even come from? How does it exist, and why does it affect those that are exposed to it? Now, the term karma comes from the spiritual belief of cause and effect, meaning if you do good things will probably happen, while doing bad things will eventually result in bad things happening to you. Now, this is sometimes referred to as the principle of karma. This principle, however, is very hard to exactly define due to the differing thoughts and definitions across different schools and religions. Now, fortunately enough for us, the differences between them draw back to 3 main aspects: causality, ethicization, and rebirth. Now, the principle of causality is relatively straightforward in regards to its relationship with karma. In short, your actions and your intentions with said actions have a direct impact on your life. Good deeds equal good karma, and bad deeds equal bad karma, to put it very simply. This karma can take effect in many different forms, and in the context of Genshin Impact, we often see karma in a more moral or emotional scale. Now, this said effect is broken down into 2 forms, phala and samskara. Phala is a karma that can be visible or invisible, and usually appears almost immediately upon impact. Now, conversely, samskara, which is the context karma is often discussed in, is invisible and relates to the karma's effects to the body and mind, directly affecting the person's emotional state in current as well as future timelines. Now, ethicization discusses how ethics is involved in karma. In his 1988 work, The Law of Karma and the Principle of Causation, philosopher Bruce Rickenbach claims karmic theories to be ethical ones. This was because intent and action were associated with outcome. If ethics wasn't involved, karmic theory would be one that could just be boiled down to simply cause and effect, meaning the outcome wouldn't be affected by the person's intent, and it would stay the same regardless. Now, this is referred to as a causal relation. Therefore, the concept of karma can be described as an element of ethics. Now, lastly, reincarnation is another common theme among karmic theories and is a vital concept in many Indian religions. Samsara is a word related to this process, specifically relating to the cyclicality of all life, matter, and existence. put it simply, when someone dies, the karma accumulated carries on to the next life. This process happens indefinitely unless it is consciously broken or maintained through reaching moksha, which in this context can be defined as a form of liberation from this cycle samsara. Well, so now that we understand karma and its main aspects, let's now connect it to the world of Genshin. Now in Genshin, we see both phala and samskara forms of karma. For phala, it can be visualized by the green stuff that appears on affected mobs, as well as Xiao himself whenever he uses his abilities. This is karma in its physical form, mainly representing negative karma based on this context. For samskara, this is identified through the Yakshas' shift in mood and attitude after years and years of its accumulation. Like mentioned in the story and by Xiao, the negative karma affected their emotional state to the point of insanity, which drove them to go mad with fear and in some cases kill each other off. Based on Xiao's character story 4, Xiao in a way has achieved some level of moksha in that he is able to liberate himself from the karma's power at will, never really having been overwhelmed by it aside from cases where all of his power is exerted. This exertion is further explained in his character story 5, describing him being in a state of agony and having been saved by Venti's flute playing. We also see this state of powerlessness at the end of the Chasm cutscene in the 2.7 Archon quest, when he uses the last of his power to seal everyone and teleport them to safety while he basically was about to sacrifice himself. But we can thank Zhongli for saving him. Ethicization seems not to really matter too much with karma here in these contexts because as a type Xiao deals with kind of stems from God's hatred and wrath, which would be purely negative with really no concern or matter for intent regardless. Also, its transferability seems to be quite uncontrollable as the karma sometimes seeps from Xiao onto other mobs, rather than the mobs always gain it directly from the god's karma. Thus, the concept of rebirth plays a very huge part in why Xiao always says that it's something that'll be a never-ending battle and why it will never go away. Remember that gods are immortal, and while their physical body may not remain, the power they contained is immense, meaning they never truly die off. Their wrath and hatred for mortals, in some contexts even other gods, will linger forever. Therefore, karma in a way will always exist. It will always find its way into a present and future timeline, continuing the indefinite cycle of samsara and in turn Xiao's indefinite battle with it. Alright, and that was the end of the video related to karma and karmic debt. This is just my first little tap back into Genshin lore, and I always wanted to talk about karma because it was something that was always talked about and referred to, but I feel like personally there was never like some way that they really explain more in depth what it actually was and why karma in the world of Genshin is the way that it is. But I'm glad I talked about it today, and if you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more lore content, and until the next video, bye bye.